and welcome to Coffee Chat with me, Jody Misiak. Today, we're going to talk about the one thing that is guaranteed in life. So grab your coffee or tea and come chat with me today. So you guys might already have guessed what the one thing is, but maybe you don't, and that's okay. So what is this one thing I'm talking about? It's change. So yesterday when I was walking down the street or walking to get my daughter from school, I was looking around and I was actually just being open to what we were going to talk about today. And I realized that and noticed the leaves were changing on all the trees. And it's like, wow, here's the leaves changing, the seasons changing, and I'm changing, and the world around me is changing. Whether we like it or not, change is constantly happening in our life. Think about it. If you would just sit on a couch all day long and do nothing, like absolutely nothing, things around you would still change. A little scary maybe, but true. Your body would change because it wasn't moving, would probably, changing in not so great healthy ways, stiffness, things like that. But things would be changing. Our cells change constantly, whether we do anything about it or not. The world, like you could just stay in your house for a week, a month, a year, and you would walk out your door and things would change. I had a huge one for the summer where I always go to my grandma's cottage. I grew up there. And then when my son wasn't sleeping through the night, so from sleep deprivation to just getting outside of the house was just too much. We were just pushing ourselves, like we had nothing to give. So we didn't go. But this past summer, I went like as much as I could because it's most likely getting sold. So I wanted to take, not an advantage. I wanted to enjoy it one last season or one last summer. So I went though, and it's like, wow, because I was so sleep deprived the 2 years before, I didn't realize all the changes. Like, unfortunately, my grandma's getting older, so things are just not in the best of shape as they used to be. So it's just like, wow, even though I'm not coming up here, things are constantly changing. So it's a really big eye opener. And I don't, share this to scare you. However, it's good to be reminded sometimes, because here's the thing. Even though we can't stop change from happening. Well, if we can try, but it's just going to stress you out. We can't control the change, or we can't control that change happens. However, we can help the change along in an empowered or embrace change even. Let's go with embrace change in a more empowering, loving way. So your future self will thank you. If you just sit on the couch and you don't do anything about your life or what's upsetting you, things are going to change around you, but probably not the way you want them to or in the direction that you want them to. Because what I'm learning is about having goals, having dreams, taking that action out of courage and love, and then letting go of the outcome. Because sometimes greater, more amazing things are on the way for us that we don't even know yet. So, but we do need to take that loving action. And there's a really cool quote. I don't know if you can see it. It's on the back of the board, and I found it. Your life does not change by chance or change for the better by chance. It changes for the better by change. So if you want to change something if you want something in your life to change, you need to make that happen. And I know that can sound really tricky to do, but it is true. Now, maybe you don't even know what you want to change. And the other thing that I love about change or a quote around change is, nothing in life that you love was designed or built, I'm paraphrasing here, designed or built in your comfort zone. Everything that you want is outside of your comfort zone. When we step out of our comfort zone, that's where true change happens. And I know, scary, right? Even just getting ready for this coffee chat today really got me thinking this morning, like, wow, what kind of changes do I want to make in my life? Where could I walk the talk kind of thing. And I have some really cool things down the line for my business, for my personal life, and just, life in general. So it's really cool. And it does take courage. It does take love, but it's doable. And where do you start, you might ask? I would suggest, if you haven't, you've been talking about taking a vacation for years and you haven't done it yet, go take that vacation. If you haven't been feeling comfortable asking for help, but you really need it, go start asking for help. If you need support in some area of your life, go out and get support. You are worthy of everything you dream of. But you can't just sit on that couch and wait for it to happen. When The Secret came out, I was definitely one of those people that watched the video right when it came out. And they even said in there, it's like, you can't sit on the couch and just wait for it to happen. There's a lot, you got to take loving action, and it does take courage. But when you make a change from an empowered place, from a loving place, amazing things can happen. I'm not asking you today to go out and do something out of fear. Like, oh no, Jody's going to come over and tie me down until I do a change. That's not what I'm saying. It's about looking at your life, getting to a place where you're coming from a loving place, an empowered place, and make those actions and take that action. Make the changes in your life that you've been talking about for years, or even just months or weeks. I know it can be really tricky, and we get in those cycles of just imagining what our life would look like. Today, I encourage you to take one, and it could just be one little step in the direction towards your dreams. It could be, if you've been talking about a vacation for the longest time and you haven't actually done any research of prices, today, go look at the prices. And if you're ready, maybe even talk to a travel agent. You don't have to put any money down yet. Just start the motion. Maybe it's even more affordable than you realize. It's about taking that time, or see how many vacation days you have. It really is about taking one step. You don't need to know how to get all the way to the end of your goal to make those changes. You just need to start taking one step in front of the other. The other thing is about so we talked about the goal is about going on vacation or getting the help you need. But what about the other changes in your life? For me, with the cottage being sold, I'm still working on it, to be honest. I wrote about it in my blog last week, how it still came up for me last week when we went there to visit one last time this year. And I'm still working on it. Change happens, and sometimes we resist it. And it's I thought I came to terms with it, and has been such a part of my life that some changes, you can't just sometimes you don't expect to snap your finger and be okay with the change. But it's looking for different ways. So what I've started to look is wow, next summer we will be having a whole different, we don't have that place to go to. So it'll just be we get to try new things. I'm super, super excited about this. Here we go, change, trying new things. And I'm super excited about that because I love trying new things. I'm wow, this part of my life chapter has closed, or will be closing, because it's not for sure yet, but it mostly is. How about we move? Endless possibilities over here, and I'm so excited for them. So yes, I'm still letting go of that part that has been a huge part of my whole childhood, my little safe haven, and really love it for what it was, for what it's been in my life, and then embrace the future and all the new endless possibilities. I'm so excited. So if you're going through a transition, or you're just kind of trying to fight the changes happening in your life, I really encourage you to try, obviously feel those emotions. I want you to feel, just don't live there forever. And really just change your perspective at times. What is this change coming in your, with this change coming in your life, what can it show you? What can it teach you? What can you be grateful for? Like, I was very, very grateful to have a cottage to go to for over 30 years. So, and I got to hang out with my grandma a lot in the summer. So it's really been an amazing thing. So it's about changing your perspective and trying to have gratitude for what was and what's going to be. The what is going to be might be a little hard if you don't see how the change will be in your life yet, but just know that something great will come out of whatever change is going on. Now, there's one more thing I'd like to talk about because it's happening right now in our house. It's the transition period. And this is what I feel with change happens a lot. You go from one phase of your life to another, and in between the change is called transition. And we're feeling it pretty good in our house right now. My kids are feeling it. And it goes from my daughter going from forest school. Now, she did forest school and public school, half and half, like 3 days forest school, 2 days public school last year, to transition into this year full-time public school because forest school is only for kindergarten. So she had to go into public school, or to at least a different school. So she's going from spending 3 days a week, mostly outside all day long, with more teachers and a different learning structure where they learn outside. It's their learning is around what the kids want to learn. Like, it's a very different structure. And going to the public school where she's sitting most of the day. And they're shorter days actually for her at the public school. Earlier, but shorter. And then we have my son, who went from daycare once earlier this year, and then 2 in the summer, and then now 3, who's loving it. He actually wants to go every single day. However, it's a transition from being home with me while Anastasia goes to school to like being gone 3 days. And he's actually has longer days than she does. So how is this showing up? What's this transition looking like in our house? It's larger, more emotional tantrums. Emotional, they're trying to figure out how to get their emotions over it. So if you're going through a change, emotions can come up. Like I said with mine, like it kind of can knock you over when you're least expecting it. And it happens at every age. So if you're feeling it with your children right now, maybe they're like, why are they so, like, I have to dive really deep into my love bucket some days. And I'll be honest, yesterday I was crying because I just didn't put myself in the best place. And my daughter was yet again having a hard time walking home from school. So change can bring up emotions. Change for yourself, for your children, for people around you. Just be aware of that. And then change it can be hard. It can be exciting and amazing and at the same time scary. So if you are going through a change right now, know that you're not alone. Most people are probably going through some form of change, unless they're just past their transition and they're just settling into a new normal. What I thought we were doing in our house, but clearly the kids have emotions. So again, let's get back to the children for just a second. If you do have kids and you're finding that they're emotional, it really is important to get emotionally grounded yourself, to take time to understand your own emotions, to, party with them, befriend them, let them go, those kinds of things, and figure out what you're doing. Because when you're at your best and your emotions are, I like to say stabilized, but like when you understand what's going on under the surface of yourself, a lot of the time you're like, oh, that's what's showing up with my kids, or, oh, maybe you don't understand what's going on with them, but you have more love, more patience, which is super important when your kid is punching you in the face and throat and kicking you. And it just comes from a better place, and you can be more grounded. And it can happen. It doesn't even have to be kids. It can be anything in life. It can be a boss that is like getting under your skin. It could be like just friends or somebody that you just don't get along with. When you are emotionally stable, you can make those changes from a more empowered place, from a more loving place. So it really does come down to creating a deeper loving relationship with yourself. And when you do love yourself, you allow yourself to have more time to get to know your emotions. Why are they showing up? We can feel anything and everything, and it is okay. I think I've written a blog because I've definitely written a lot about emotions lately. And I lost my train of thought, guys. Sorry. So with emotions, it's okay to feel. Oh, that's what I was going to say. I used to think that I couldn't feel angry, sad, upset, that I had to feel happy all the time because it was part of the law of attraction. You get a certain vibration. Understand that, love it. And yes, it makes sense that you need to be at a happy place, joy, to reach your vibration. But if you are in a constant state of joy constantly and you're not addressing your emotions, they slip under the surface and then they erupt like a dirty, crazy, hot mess volcano all over your life. So it's great to feel joy and work through those. But if you keep having the same emotion pop up, say hello to it, befriend it, figure out what's going on with it, and then let it go. Every emotion you feel is absolutely acceptable. Obviously, it's about doing it out of a place of love and out of safety and honoring it. And then obviously it's getting help where you need it if it's a heavy emotion. So who's ready to do some changing with the seasons? I love this time of year, and at the same time, I have a love-hate relationship with fall because I love the colors. I love sweater weather. And at the same time, I'm not the biggest fan of winter, so I know that's what's next. So right now, I'm just really about embracing the fall and all the changes that it brings. So are you ready to embrace change in a loving, healthy way? I'm just looking over my notes to make sure that I didn't miss too much. So if you are ready to make change, I don't know how much longer this is going to last. I have actually 2 openings for one-on-one coaching. So if you're ready to make some kind of change in your life and you need a loving support behind it, somebody to cheer you on and be like, yes, you got this, you can do this, and to help you create a deeper loving relationship to make this change really just stand on a solid foundation. Because when we have that love, when we have that relationship that's super strong, which is with ourselves, it is easier to make those changes because it's coming from a place of love, authenticity, and what's really best for yourself. So if you're ready, I have 2 spots available. So please, I will put a link in this in the comments with this video, and book your free call with me. There's no obligation. If you book a call and it's a half-hour call with me, just to see if it's a good fit. And if it doesn't feel good, it's okay. No obligation. Just a free call to see if you're ready and if it's a great fit. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day and go out and enjoy some of those fall colors maybe. I hope if you've going through any changes too, I wish you all the best through the transitions. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.